What's good, YouTube? I'm back for another video, man. It's your boy Rob, and today I was just thinking, man. I just got done working out. Y'all know I've been on this workout kick. I had to actually cook Chase something to eat before I left to go to the gym, because I told you I got him for the week. My mom got Phoenix. She helping me out with that while their mom is on vacation. So I'm like, wait, just was sitting around thinking about some stuff, man, and I don't know, every day is another day for me to kind of really get my thoughts together, because I'm here and I'm able to try to correct some of the things that I did in the past, man. And one of the things I was thinking about with me having the kids was, I kind of wish, the way that I am with my kids now, the younger kids with Phoenix and Chase, I kind of wish I could have been that person to my older kids. So just to be all the way honest and truthful, I feel like first of all, I had kids too young. Some people, especially women, I think they're able to transition from being like teenagers or young adults into being parents and stuff. Some men are able to do that as well. I don't think that I've made that transition that good. I don't think that I know I wasn't ready at the time when I had my oldest son. And it kind of showed in the way that, my parenting, how I spent time with the kids back then and everything. Because at that time I was still, just running around in the streets doing whatever that consisted of, and not necessarily taking care of my responsibilities the way that I should have. You know what I mean? And my mom would have talks with me. My dad would have talks with me too about, just being a better parent, as being a better father and stuff. Get on me about, man, making sure you doing this and that for them kids. And so I had kids by my oldest son's mom, man, and we ended up so I always say this, it's gonna sound crazy, but I don't feel like I was actually really in a relationship with her like that. Basically, she got kicked out of her sister's house. She was living with her sisters because her home family, her household was broken. Father and mom really wasn't doing the things that they should have did. There was some other crazy stuff going on, so she ended up staying with her sisters and whatnot, and she got pregnant. And after she had my oldest son, some things happened, and I went over there and got my son, and then they kicked her out. And so she did end up staying with my mom for a week or so, but my mom was actually working for a place where she was able to, help her get housing or whatever. So once my mom helped her get housing, my mom kind of threw me out threw me out the house too. And kind of made me go live with the kid's mom, and I really didn't want to do that. So long story short, I ended up not being with her, and I did have another daughter or two or whatever, and the kids that I have now, and just all of my relationships with my kids aren't the same. I got a different relationship with each one of my kids, and I think a lot of people probably can say the same thing about their kids. They got different type of relationships with each one of the kids, especially if you got multiple kids or more than one kid or whatever. But with that being said, though, man, I realized that the older I got and the more time that passed, the more I was into being a parent. Not saying I ended up becoming super dad or none of that, you know what I'm saying? But, I ended up realizing my mistakes and things that I need to correct, man. And I'm to the point now where I feel I'm still growing as a man. I'm still growing as an adult. I think we can always stand for some type of change, in our life, no matter how old we are. But I feel that I've, reached the point to where I know what I need to do, and I know what needs to be done, and I can hold myself accountable for that. But with that being said, man, and not to ramble on real long, man, I feel I just really feel I wish I would have waited to have kids. And I know a lot of people may be able to relate to me saying this, not necessarily just because of the maturity level, but also I feel I missed out on a lot of things that I possibly could have had going on, that I could have possibly experienced had I, not rushed. I'm not gonna say that I rushed this, but had I not had children as early as I did, man, I had and even really, I had my first son when I was 18. But still, like, I feel like if I would have waited till like my late 20s, even my 30s, I feel like I could have got a lot of things out of my system that really was kind of like suppressed or bottled up, because I could only do so much when you got responsibilities that you got to take care of, or now you got a conscience because you got kids, you know what I mean, or just a lot of things that I wish I could have did different before I had kids. And the main thing is, though, I wasn't ready. Regardless of how I put it, regardless of how I want to say it, how I slice it, or whatever, I literally was not ready to have kids, man. And it showed in my parenting. It showed in my maturity level. It showed in my relationship situation, because like what really happened, I created a broken home. I created a broken home to the point where my kids is now being raised in a separate household than where the father is at. And then I'll go out and have other kids. So now, I believe it possibly builds resentment towards me, or even it possibly could build resentment towards other kids. I'm not saying that happened, but I'm saying it could, and not necessarily in my situation, but even in someone else's situation, it could build that resentment up to where kids feel some type of way because dad is like actually living in the house with other, with another child, even though that's my sibling. At the end of the day, I feel some type of way. I didn't have to go through that. Me and my sisters all stayed in the same house. My dad didn't have any other kids. You know what I'm saying? So I really can't say that I can relate to that, but I'm man enough to say, like, I feel bad and I feel some type of way because my kids didn't get to experience me under the roof with, grow up under the same roof as me and their mom. Not saying that the situations with me and their mom was the situation I should have been in, right? So when I say wait, that also is like, man, I could have waited until I found the person who I could have actually did that with. We could have grew together and actually made a healthy environment for the kids that we was raising. I can't go back and change it now. And I'm too old to like say, well, hey, I'm gonna have some more kids and this is what I'm gonna do. I can only hold myself accountable and try to be understanding when these kids is having these emotional outbursts about certain things that I may think it's about one thing, but it could possibly be, the effects of something totally different. You know what I'm saying? So I really, want to encourage people, especially young bros my age. I'm not my age, younger individuals who may be going through the same thing, or seeing themselves like damn, I really don't even want to be with her, cuz like I got these damn kids. I'm not telling nobody to stay in any type of relationship or situation or whatever you in for the sake of kids. I'm definitely not for that, because I don't think that's healthy either, for where people stay in relationships and stay with people just for the sake of saying like I'm in a relationship. I mean, I'm staying for the kids. I don't think that that's the thing to do either. We just got to make better decisions as adults and realize that when we bring these kids into this world, they didn't ask to be here. We laid down and we made grown-up decisions and made children. And in those stages where we molding them, where we're like raising them and bringing them up, you know what I mean? A lot of that influence that we put on them is going to be things that they're going to carry with them for the rest of their life. So we want to, show them like this is how things should be. And I don't think that I set a good example for my sons as far as, having kids and, you know, creating what is it called, a nuclear family. I don't think I set the best example for my older sons on how a father is supposed to actually raise their children. Now, my daughter Talia may seen a glimpse of where I'm at now. And even in my situation with Riley, you know, I was like for the majority of my life, I was selling drugs in the streets and going back and forth to prison and chasing money and whatever else I was chasing. And I wasn't putting my children first. It wasn't until I really wanted to turn my life around and change my life to where I start putting these kids first. Some of the kids was already like teenagers though, so they got the tail, like at the tail end of them growing up, I changed my life and I turned my life around. You know what I mean? So in all actuality, Phoenix and Chase is the only ones that's been able to like enjoy this Rob their entire life, man, and that is fucked up. But I gotta be real, and I said I would be honest. I said I would bring y'all my life, and like I'm not gonna hide nothing from y'all. So when people say certain things about like my situation with Riley and stuff, it's a whole backstory behind like our relationship and why like I feel the way that I feel that we're not talking, because we already had so much time apart that us not talking right now is really bothering me though. So I just want to get that off my chest, man. I'm gonna bring y'all these videos every day, man.